name is Tony McPhee, and I'm a survivor of 9/11 because on 9/11, my youngest son, Andre, and my nephew, Greg, were murdered for monetary gain. Andre, of course, was 21, Greg was 22, and Greg calls Andre up at Tennessee State University. What you doing? At 3:30 in the morning, what you think I'm doing? It's 3:30 in the morning. Well, listen, I'm at the Bootleggers right here on Jefferson Street. I'm gonna come get you. We're gonna take them home, and at 21 and 22, you gonna take on the world if you can. And of course, when they get to the young lady's house over on Aspen Drive, they should have knew right away. If the situation doesn't feel good, just get up and leave. And Andre knew better because I knew Andre was streetwise. I knew he was. But my nephew, of course, he's a nice, but he was gullible, and he followed the young ladies home, and of course, Andre followed him, and they get to the young lady's house, and if I see you on the telephone 30 times from 3 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock in the morning, something's not right. The girls, they called 2 young men over, their boyfriends or whatever, said, hey, these guys got some money. Listen, that $10 that Andre had, if those guys had showed Andre the pistol, he'd have gave them that money quicker than a cat could, da-da-da-da-da-da. And sure enough, the guys supposedly kicked the back door in and started shooting. I didn't get the call until 2:30 that afternoon. My wife and I had went to church. And of course, when we get home at 2:30 that afternoon, Chaplain James Duke, he come to our home at 2:30 in the afternoon, and my wife says, there's a police car outside. I said, I don't know why, just tell them they're at the wrong house, it's okay. Just tell them they got the wrong house. She said, they coming up the stairs. Huh? They at the wrong house, honey, it's okay, they got the wrong house. She said, would you please get the door? And I go to the door, and he says, Mr. McPhee? I said, excuse me? He said, Mr. McPhee? I said, yes. He said, listen, can I come in? When he said, I'm Captain Duke, I thought he said Captain Duke, but he said Chaplain Duke. And when he came in, of course, he asked me right away, could he sit down? I said, excuse me? I said, what's this all about, sir? He says, he pulls out Andre's, my son's, identification. And he said, Mr. McPhee, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. He said, your son, Andre, been shot 3 times in the chest. I looked, because my wife was sitting on the love seat behind me. I looked back to say, honey, did you hear that? And she had already slumped over. the only thing I could say was, oh my God, I gotta call mom. Oh, I don't got no mama. I had just buried my mother July 28th in Chicago, 6 weeks prior. I had just buried my mom July 28th. And of course, at that point, he said, Mr. McPhee, how many sons do you have? I said, excuse me? He said, how many sons do you have? I said, I got 3 sons, but you telling me one of them been shot and killed through the night. He said, yes, but there was another young man with your son that had gold in his mouth. And I said, oh my God. I said, that was my nephew. I can't even get my wife up now because she's in another world. And yeah, but of course, at that point, my whole world changed. My whole world changed. What worked well with myself and my wife was the ability to get that support that Chaplain Duke recommended as far as victims intervention program. And of course through VIP and the Metropolitan Police Department, I was able to meet people who have been through this journey. They have experienced all of these different victimizations that come along with losing a loved one to a violent crime. I can't thank Chaplain Duke enough because it started with Chaplain Duke. And I'm so glad that Chaplain Duke gave me the information that he gave me. Detective Satterfield and Lieutenant Phillips at North Precinct, they helped me tremendously. At first, I thought they were a little standoffish, but after they saw that I wasn't going away, and I wasn't going without a fight because I've got my wife, I've got my in-laws. They want to know what's going on with the case. So I can't just go back and tell them, oh, it's gonna be all right. It didn't work that way. Not with my wife, not with my in-laws. They want some results. I was able to go to North Precinct every day pretty much on my lunch.
You go every day?
Every day. I didn't miss a day for about 30 days. I gotta go home to my wife. I gotta go home to my wife. And of course, I'm getting phone calls from where Greg, my nephew's from. You gotta remember his mother. You gotta remember his grandmother. You gotta remember his father. After I sat down with Detective Satterfield and Lieutenant Phillips, I felt a lot better. I felt better than I had felt that whole month. And of course, while I'm seeing Detective Satterfield and Lieutenant Phillips, I'm trying to go through this what they call victims intervention program. I'm trying to do that. I was really just going through the motions. I gotta have some concrete answers. When they set me down in a huge room and they closed that door, and I said to myself, I wish they had done this. But I guess they didn't have all the facts before they sat down. And see, now I understand it so a lot better than I did when I first went through, so I can maybe help someone else, and hopefully no one else has to go through this, but unfortunately, this is how we're living right now. I had no idea that it was gonna take that long to even get the case in court. That really boggled my mind. Yes, yes. Make sure you surround yourself with that positive influence, that positive circle. You don't want to give up hope, because that's all you got is hope. So you want to stay focused, and you want to really ask our Heavenly Father to help you through this process. And if you've got a church family, you stand a chance, because you cannot do this thing by yourself.